us today, and you made the trek to the campus and found parking and walked over here and then walked some more, and you made it, and I'm glad that you are here. So this has been a journey. I mean, this is the second time we've done this project, a second phenomenal group of doctors, MDs, and dentistry experts, and we are very, very excited about them sharing their stories and their journeys and what brought them to the field of medicine, to the field of dentistry, doing different things outside of the field, etc. I'm a mom, so I gotta. And we are excited to do this again the second time in Atlanta, because we feel that this is where, I don't know, this is where the center of everything is. So we felt that it was appropriate again for us to be here. So thank you so much. Thank you to Jamie, our wonderful event planner. We made magic happen. Because I'm based in North Carolina, Manny's based in DC. So to make things happen here, we need someone who was here and was, an expert in this area. So she has been phenomenal, and we've gotten on her last nerve, and she doesn't show it, but she made things happen miraculously, pulled rabbits out of hats, etc. The caterer canceled on us. She made food happen. So thank you for being magical in every way. By the way, the man on the sound is my wonderful husband, Mr. Rick Swiner. But even more importantly, as part of the other than being my biggest support, he is with our project. He has been our graphic designer, book cover designer, project manager. He kept us in line on a timeline. He fussed at us when we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. He chased everyone down when they were turning the stuff in. I mean, he truly, this project would not have happened without you. So thank you, baby. So to tell you just briefly about myself, I'm still today a full-time family physician in Durham, North Carolina. That's what I still do most days from 9 to 5, but then started thinking a little bit outside the box as, I became married, I became an entrepreneur by accident. Owning a practice is something that I definitely did not plan to do in medical school, but it kind of happened. God works in mysterious ways. So in learning to do that, having 2 kids at home, just trying to manage and balance everything, I realized that I was kind of falling into this realm of being a superwoman, which has both positive and negative connotations. And in talking to my patients, mostly female, mostly women of color, we all kind of share the same struggles, right? So I started writing about that, and so self-published 2 books about that. And after doing that, I started meeting more and more women, more and more folks like me, particularly in the medical field, who were having the same struggles. And then Manny and I met at my book signing for my second book here, how many years ago? 4-ish years ago. And we discovered we had similar struggles and just trying to make this field and this career into what we want it to be. Not having to deal with bureaucracy and the pharmaceutical industry, fighting with insurance companies, and fighting with our patients, who don't listen all the time, and figuring out what was important to us and what we were most passionate about in our careers, and what brought us to medicine in the first place. And we often think about quitting. I mean, that's the truth. We often do. And we'll get the feedback from a lot of our colleagues who say, well, why would you quit? This is wonderful. You've made it to this level of success, et cetera, but it's hard. And I'm sure all of us, in some way, feel that way no matter what field of work you're in. I mean, sometimes you feel like giving up. And we wanted to tell those stories about how we got over, how we're still trying to get over, and how we can help each other and pull each other through that muck and mire that we all deal with on a daily basis. So that's essentially why we're here, okay? So what I'm going to do is let each author that is here just kind of tell their brief story, introduce themselves, and tell you why this project is important to them. And I just want them to know that I am incredibly proud of you guys. Okay? All right. Andy, you want to go next?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, thank you guys for coming, making this dream feel real. There's humans attached to what was once an idea. And its significance and probably the difference between insanity and creativity. Keeping it real. So, again, like Nicole said, a few years ago, I went to her book signing and we were talking, we have the same idea. And what usually happens, the experience people have is when you're thinking about quitting medicine, it might be fleeting, and the metaphor we use on the cover is ball and chain. The metaphor that's often used in medicine is married to medicine, and the old ball and chain metaphor. And so the key thing is to realize that even in a relationship, sometimes you gotta be like, sometimes I do think about hitting this door, but but then I dig deeper and I realize that what am I saying? I'm like, so, and you dig deeper and you realize that being allowed to express the desire to leave sometimes is enough to pivot all the energy that you have. It's the sense of being unheard. It's the sense of feeling inauthentic and constrained a lot of times to get people to that burnout position, right? Is that good? So one of the goals was to create a tribe where we can have this discussion where instead of saying, I'm thinking about quitting and getting shut down and then having that frustration and sort of a reactive response is so that when you're thinking about quitting, you can find some people to identify with. The goal is to have something encyclopedic where you can look through and be like, that's what I was thinking, feel validated, and then from there, instead of from a defense position, start thinking creatively about what's possible, and then realize that, maybe I don't want to quit. I want to have time. I want to surround myself with people in a different, less toxic environment, whatever it is. But these are all discussions and sentiments that you don't get to evolve if people shut you down right at the beginning. So we were like, if you have a tribe where you be like, I'm feeling this way and I'm not alone, so don't trip like I'm crazy, it becomes a different discussion. And it feels really good to know that people aren't going through what I went through for years. Just instead of making progress forward, knowing that we have a tribe where it's like, I'm thinking about this. Why are you thinking about it? When did you start thinking about it? Tell me more. What are you imagining on the other side? It's taking people through steps of a critical reasoning process instead of a reactive panic process. So thank you guys for helping that become real. Go!
Thank you all for coming. I echo everything that Dr. Nicole, Dr. Manning stated. First of all, definitely thank you to my family for showing up, friends. Y'all are just everything to me. I really appreciate that. And just everyone else here, y'all, this love and support. Actually, hopefully it echoes in your own life. The whole point for me in my particular journey, my first book, I actually kind of was a lot courageous. It was actually, a vulnerable moment that I wasn't really wanting to do. And then with this book, it allowed me to be unapologetic about this journey and the ideas that we do cross our minds. Many of us may be type A. We're all overachievers in all those respects. But as we have young people in this room too, I'm actually glad that you're all here because we do think about giving up sometimes. That's a real thing. But the difference, and I think something that echoes with all the authors here today, is that we don't. Right? In whatever way, in whatever capacity, however that may look, it may look different, and you're going to hear more about each of our stories, and definitely pick up the book so that you can dig deeper into those stories. But we all had to tap into something in ourselves where we didn't. And for each of you, especially young people here, I get real passionate about that for you as far as young people are concerned. Tap into that thing that says, I can't give up, right? But then don't beat yourself up or feel like you can't voice it, that you think about giving up. One of those things I feel like we do a lot as human beings, especially as overachievers, that we sometimes are fearful. Again, not having that courage to say it out loud, to own it. And then that allows us then to move through it. So I encourage you all to, teenagers, put down your phones if you're not taping us, to listen to us, okay? Especially related to me, I want you to put down those phones. To basically tap into that moment where at times when you think about giving up, you think about quitting, so don't be afraid to tell someone. Tell someone. Because that could be the moment, and that could be a completely transformative moment for you to now go forward in your life. So when those moments come, you'll know exactly how to proceed and go through that. For me, that journey had to do with, once again I said, stop being apologetic about, wanting to give up at times. And instead, I have a newfound desire inside to empower other people to be unapologetic about your MVP, about being the most valuable person in your life. And that is a part of the journey. I hope you guys pick up the book today to learn more about that part of my journey as well as these other illustrious, dynamic positions.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lisa Whitty-Bradley. I'm a plastic surgeon in the Chicagoland area, and I also want to thank Dr. Manny and Dr. Nicole for doing this project. And for me, this was a very personal journey, and I really appreciated what Dr. Nicole and Dr. Manny did on the first volume. And for me, it was important to be involved when they asked me to become the forward author, because I had such a traumatic experience being a physician and then becoming a patient myself. And so for me, this journey was about thinking about quitting the type of medicine that has destroyed many lives, not just patients, but also physicians, and thinking about creating a better medicine that focuses on self-care, that focuses on a better and a different way of approaching relationships with our families, with ourselves, with our patients, and making sure that we focus on taking care of ourselves, because every one of us up here has encountered fellow physicians and sometimes ourselves that have become broken, have lost their lives, have lost their livelihoods, because we have not been trained how to effectively care for ourselves. So for me, being of service is also taking care of myself and being of service to myself, my family, my community. And I really feel like this entire movement of thinking about quitting medicine is helping not just us as seasoned physicians, but also the younger physicians who are watching us, or the medical students, the undergraduates, all of these people coming along, that it's okay to take care of ourselves on this journey. And it actually improves how we're able to be of service and be of care to those people who are most vulnerable. So that's why I'm a part of this journey. So thank you for coming out. Thanks for all of the folks who came from far away, and I'm looking forward to the next volume.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Latasha Flowers, and until I wrote this book, most of the people that know me on Facebook never knew my government name. I am affectionately and lovingly known as L. Flowers, and I'm very proud of that. But there is a story even behind that. I didn't want my patients to see me on Facebook. I believe I have a right to a private life, so I did not use my government name on my Facebook page so that I could have jokes and sometimes be inappropriate with like-minded people, and therefore my patients would be like, well, what did you mean by that? So nonetheless, I do believe in giving us permission to be humans. And that's one of the things that very affectionately touches on each one of our stories, is we realize that we are given a huge responsibility in being a physician. And with that, the world sometimes puts extra weight on our shoulders because what we have chosen to do or have been chosen. I do believe I'm a physician purposed by God. And with that, when my chance came up to come to that crossroads and I thought about going away from medicine or quitting medicine, God is taught. And I've tried to walk away from medicine a few times in my life, and I'm still here. So obviously, that's not what God wanted me to do. So with that, I had to figure out how to make medicine work for me. One of the biggest things that I did to turn my situation around and continue to do it every day is prioritize. I prioritize my family. I prioritize my friends and sorors and sisters and my village. And then I prioritize my career. But please understand, my career is third on my list of things to do in my priorities. It wasn't until I established that order and maintained it that I saw happiness in my own life. Because before being very ambitious, I became an independent contractor with my revelation of changing medicine to make it look like what I needed it to look like. But I was doing 6 jobs at one time. That sounds like a lot. However, I thrive in chaos. And so I found my happy medium in chaos. But with that, I had to make sure, suddenly becoming a single parent, I did not leave my son behind. It's already very difficult to raise any child in this world, but I think young black males have an extra target on their back, if you guys will reflect on what's going on in our society. And I needed my son to be the man that God would have him to be. But that meant he needed a mother that was going to be there. So I tailored my practice of medicine around my son. When he had a wrestling tournament or golf tournament or anything like that, I did not work. I was at the tournament because he has one parent. He doesn't have an option to have another parent. So patients have an option to have another doctor. I realized I do not have to save the world. I need to save him. And by saving him, I'm taking care of me. Then I'm a better doctor when I do show up. So I am very excited about sharing my story in this book. Thank you, Dr. Swiner, Dr. Manny Victor.
You're welcome.
For this opportunity, because it wasn't until I did link myself with this fantastic group of authors that I felt like our voices are being heard. I am familiar with some of the authors from the volume 1, and they are continually an inspiration for us. So very happy you guys took the time, and I need to give a special shout out to my Mocha Medicine sister, Shayla. Yeah. She is also, I shared earlier, one of the Mocha Medicine doctors that went to Sierra Leone with me, and I'm forever grateful for that bond as well. So thank you, Shayla, and everyone else for coming tonight.
Last but not least, it's the dentist in the group.
Yeah, let's get it.
And she got that DDS, not that MD. So you read my story first. But I was so excited to be included in the project as the only dentist because I needed to change the narrative a little bit, right? I wasn't in 3 billboards. I'm not that dentist. I wasn't in the dentist part 1 and 2 or any other movie you've seen. We don't pull out teeth without anesthesia. We don't do that. But at the same time, dental school is not easy. And as a first-generation African-American doctor who went to an HBCU for undergrad, I was like, what is this? I don't even know what hit me, what is happening here. Am I going to survive? So my life is not about work, just like my soror here said. My life beyond treating patients is about mentorship. That's what I was put on earth to do. So again, like these other doctors here, I had to find a way to make practicing healthcare work for me. Once I was able to find a way to make practicing healthcare work for me, then I could go to my happy place and do what it is that I was actually put here on this earth to do, which was to provide mentorship to other minorities who look like me, who are first generation, who don't know how to get into the healthcare field, because I can't do this forever. I've already told people I will not be the crotchety doctor sitting over you like this. I'm hanging it up at 60. Somebody else has to come and take my job, and that's what I'm here for, to find those people and help them get to where I am. But the road was not easy, and I've had people already read my story. People that know me that say I had no idea what you were going through, because of course I only put the best pictures on the internet. Okay? You're only gonna see me smiling at my good skinny side. So, and I don't tend to complain about my work. That's my policy. I don't complain about my work or what I do in public on the internet. So when you read our stories, you're gonna see what we're going through, but you saw smiling faces the whole time. And the stories are inspiration for anyone, not just people in medicine, but for anyone in a profession who's ever had a hard time. We are going to go through things, but how do you make it work? How do you stay positive? How do you flip it and become positive? And then also these stories are great for students that are going into medicine, how they're going to get over and make it through. So encourage students, encourage people in other professions, encourage other minorities. If you want to hear stories of where it went downhill and then we turned it around and came back up that hill, pick up these books. They're wonderful stories. Every time I read my own story, I still pat myself on the back for sticking with it and finishing it out. So thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you out there in the social media.
Any questions from anyone that you want to share? If not, what we're going to do is continue to hang out, have a good time. Please eat. We cannot take this food back on the road with us. But we also, please buy all the books, because that's another thing we don't want to take back on the road.
Yeah.
Buy all of them. Christmas, the holidays are coming up, you gotta share some gifts. So we have volume 1, volume 2 here. The price that we're selling it for today is usually when we're up here for events, we do a discounted price. So they're for $25 today and 2 for $45. So if you want to buy one for you and that student, you and your mom, etc., you have that. Some of our authors also have other books that they have written in other businesses, services, things online, internet classes, etc. So talk to them about what they're doing and how they can help you, help someone that you know, and you all can stay connected, okay?
You want to do that now, Rick?
What are we doing?
I'm hoping.
Are we,
Okay.
we are doing something special for them. Dr. Manny has something special for us?
Okay, so one of the projects I've been working on, in addition to our Thinking About Food and Medicine project, is a project I call Urban Asylum. When a few years ago I started to get into meditation, because the more psychiatry I was learning, the more I felt like I was going to lose it before my patients. So I started looking deep into the science to understand. I'm a mathematician at heart, and also I've been a software engineer since I was like 9. I've been glued to computers. And one of the things that started coming up is realizing how music affects us, because we are this beautiful computing machine. And so I have a piece that I released to iTunes earlier this week. It's called, it was originally called Papillon Enchanté, but, and this is Papillon fluttering around me right now. But iTunes said someone came up with that name, so we're gonna go ahead and name it Amani Enchanté, get more literal. So I wanted to share that with you guys. The key principle here is that there's meditation music that we can identify with from all different cultures. It doesn't have to sound how you think it sounds, as long as empirically and mathematically it causes the entrainment in your mind that allows you to be able to, in a moment, do what's called resolved cognitive dissonance. There's something called the Mozart effect, where it catapults your learning to a new level. You can work at harder tasks longer, you can focus harder, you can think about something that causes you pain and bring that pain down. So this is, again, Amani Enchanté.
That's Eddie, brother.
All right.
And it's deep. Y'all ready?
Somebody said drop it. It's fire. It's what? That is it's fire. Who's that? They said go hard.
Oh, yes, stick with Dr. Track with me. Or the basic harder in your car, by the way. You can find this on SoundCloud. I've got like 8 hours of meditation music, like this, different sounds. Some of them, there's one called Serenity Meditation. They take your brain into alpha waves. This one actually drops into what's called hypnagogic theta, which is the phase right before you go to sleep, where you let go of the empirical reality outside, and you're headed into dream state. So you're super suggestible during this state.
You just you were about to say something. We were like,
Oh, and plus I put that 808 in. So you ain't gotta listen to no guns if you go to SoundCloud and listen to my stuff. Urban Asylum. You can find me on
I play lacrosse, basketball, and you play lacrosse? I want to play high school. You even play pre. But right now, I'm just practicing. I'm going to play with
sport that helps with other sports and track. Not lacrosse. I really want to do a sport that helps with other sports and track. You have to run in every sport. Just I was trying to
but like around in one circle.
really want something to help you run in track. But you run track.
When did you move to DC?
Like, who got there with it?